Welcome to the world of classic cars, where every body line tells a story and every engine roars with history. But with the excitement of buying one of these automotive treasures comes a huge potential for mistakes when it comes to unsuspecting or new buyers. Buying a classic car can be an awesome experience, but it's crucial to tread carefully to avoid falling into common pitfalls. Today we're going to talk about the 3 major mistakes that people make when purchasing a classic car or old school. And stay till the end of the video for a bonus tip. Mistake number 1 is going to be ignoring the importance of thorough research. Many car enthusiasts dive headfirst into purchasing a classic car or old school without understanding market values, market trends, cost of potential repairs, upgrades, and/or cost of potential maintenance. Research is key to making an informed decision and avoiding buyer's remorse. Something I can't stress enough is how essential research really is. Knowing the market trends, knowing the car's history and value is crucial to purchasing a old school. I've seen people get into owning classic cars not realizing how much maintenance, repairs, or restoration costs are, and really give up on the car before they can even get it on the road and enjoy the car. I've had multiple people bring me cars thinking they wanted full restoration or a custom paint job before, or even just repairs, and once they get into the job, not realizing how much it was going to be. And I think that was a bad on my part as well, and not being fully transparent, or not even really knowing in the beginning when I first started in this trade how much it was actually going to cost myself, and not being forward in expressing what the potential costs could be. And I'm sure this goes on in other shops as well, that people get into it to a certain price when doing like time and material, which means like I'm charging for every hour I'm working on your car and charging you for the material. And I've had it happen to me before where, and usually around about $5,000 is the mark where people start like kind of flipping out. They think the whole car is going to get done for $5,000 or $10,000. And then they see that like, okay, like I'm not even done with the metal work, or I'm not even done with the body work, and it's already $5,000, and they end up pulling the car or taking it somewhere else to get it done cheaper. So understanding and knowing, or understanding and researching what the potential costs are, or putting together some type of budget, is always going to be safe or safer. When it comes to buying an old school, you're always better off researching and trying to build a budget. It's not always going to be on point. You're going to be off budget somewhat, but hopefully you can pinpoint or get it down to the thousands, say, and in figuring out what it could cost to restore, repair, or just maintenance on an old school before you buy it. Mistake number 2 is going to be failing to thoroughly inspect the car. In the excitement and nostalgia of buying an old school, people often miss crucial details and sometimes don't even inspect the car at all. I recommend that you always inspect the car meticulously, from its bodywork, from its engine and electrical components. Get the car up on jack stands and crawl underneath that mug if you don't have a lift or don't have access to a lift, and make sure that there's nothing being hidden with tons of undercoating or no big holes, or if there is holes, that you know that what it's going to cost to repair those holes or any rust that you find. But I often find that people will just buy a car, lift up the hood, okay, it runs, okay, it drives, but they don't really do a thorough inspection, and then they end up finding out that the car needs way more repairs or way more restoration or way more maintenance than they thought it did from the beginning. I had a customer in particular that I can remember back in the early 2000s buy a car sight unseen, and the car was like in Kansas or Oklahoma. I don't remember exactly, but it was one of those mid states. And he argued with me because I told him catch a flight and go check this car out. He ended up buying the car through exchanging pictures with the seller over the internet. And I told him, at the end of the day, you're looking at a 15-inch screen, if that, on your laptop. If you're not just looking at it on your phone, yeah, sure, all the sheet metal work appears to be done, and the guy says it was done by a professional, but you never know what you're getting. And I was unfortunately right, and I was working on that car. He asked me to work on that car, and I probably should have said no from the beginning because of the transaction and the way the car was bought. But he had the car shipped to California, then he brought it to my shop and dropped it off with flats, mind you. And the first thing I did was grab one of the skirts, because I had skirts, or actually he had purchased skirts and brought them to me with the car. So I pull them out, I pull the skirts out of the box, and the first thing I do is sit it up to the quarter panel, and the quarter panel was 2 inches at least too short. So in other words, the end of the skirt on the back side, on the rear of the quarter panel, hung down 2 inches past the quarter panel. So that was clear indication of how messed up the work is that they did on this car. Long story short, he ended up selling the car to another client of mine, and the other client ended up finishing the car. But that car had to be sent down to somebody that did convertible conversions and all the sheet metal work done. I was too busy at the time, and the guy wanted it done faster and cheaper than I could do it. So he ended up sending the car down to LA somewhere, or down south somewhere, and the guy ended up getting a 4-door donor car and basically cutting out all the sheet metal that they had did previously and redoing the car. So that's why I always tell people, catch a flight, go look at these cars in person. Don't just buy these cars willy-nilly, pictures over the internet. Get down there, inspect the car. And this happens quite often. And it happens over and over by the same people sometimes as well, I've noticed. I switched over to that mushroom coffee. It's actually really good. It has a little chocolatey taste. I'm on them shrooms. I dig it. First time having the mushroom coffee. And that leads me to mistake number 3. And the major third mistake people make is not budgeting for maintenance, upgrades, repairs, or restoration. Even if you're doing all the work yourself, you have to budget in for all the parts you're going to need, for all the consumables you're going to need. Sandpaper, tape, masking tape, primer, paint, sealers, grinding wheels, welding gas, welding wire. Look, there's nothing better than getting into your car and just driving it away whenever you want. It starts up easy. There's no problems. You just get in and drive it. But oftentimes, like I said, people don't budget for, or try to figure out a budget for, what it could cost to get this car up to par or roadworthy. And the car just sits and it never gets done. And pretty soon it's 4 or 5 years and the car's just been sitting, and you just sell it and pass it on to the next person because you thought that, okay, I'm going to buy this car and that's going to be the end of it. No, these cars all are probably 30 plus, well, way probably past 30 or 40 plus years old already. So they all need a bunch of work. The bonus tip is get a pre-purchase inspection. Honestly, I can go on and talk about mistakes that people make when buying these old schools or classic cars, but I'm going to end it with just a bonus tip, and that is get a pre-purchase inspection. A friend of mine used to do these at his shop. He would put them up on his 4-post lift and inspect the undersides of them, check the motor, do a compression test, check the oil, make sure there's nothing weird going on with the oil, check the trannies. He would drive them, check all the wiring out, and give you an idea of what the car might need before you buy it. A lot of these driving cars running and driving cars are in the upwards of 30 to 100 to I see cars, even some convertible Impalas are going for like 200 grand now. And it's a drop in the bucket to take it to somebody and pay whatever their hourly rate is for a couple hours, maybe $200 to give you a pre-purchase inspection that knows, especially if you don't know or you're a first time buyer, find somebody that does a pre-purchase inspection and get them to look it over. That way, at least you have peace of mind. If you're going to drop 50 grand on a car, $200 to have somebody look at it. And if you don't know, maybe you're an experienced, seasoned car guy and you know exactly what you're looking at, but a lot of people don't, or just want to get into this world of classic cars or buy an old school and always get a pre-purchase inspection. With that, I'm going to end the video and say I appreciate everybody watching the videos, and hopefully you're getting some value. If you are, a free and easy way to support the channel would be to subscribe, like this video, and hit that notification bell. YouTube tells me that 96% of you still aren't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button if you're getting some value. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like the content later on or feel like you're not getting anything from this channel. But I also appreciate the comments. I do try to read all the comments and reply to all of them. And that's it for this video. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.